Hello, this is Donna Tushoff or Donna Tea Crafting on the socials such as YouTube and Instagram, and I am here today making a project with Pixi Dust Designs. I am going to be using the Holiday Snack Treat Box die, the interchangeable box topper. Well, I'm going to use the bracket one. There's also an oval and a heart. And I'm going to also be using the damask background die and the vintage lace dies. I've already cut out all the pieces in some reds and greens and ivories. I cut the damask background in some red glitter stock. And what I'm going to do, since I didn't want it to cover all of my green background piece, is I decided I was going to cut the edges off of this. So I went on my trimmer and measured the green just so I know how much to cut off of this red here. So I'm just trimming off the outside border. And the reason for that will allow me to have some green along the outside of this then, instead of red, just green poking through the openings. It's going to have a border of green along the outside. So I decided to trim off those outside edges, the solid edges on this die that has already been cut in glitter stock. So I'm going to cut this down. I'm being very careful. You know, they always say you should measure twice, cut once. I'm trying very hard that I measured it a couple of times, looking it over, making sure my numbers make sense, make sure that it'll all equal out just right. So I cut off those little edges off of there. And then when I put this on here, it's going to have a little bit of a green border around it, as I mentioned before. Okay, for the other side of this treat box, since there's two sides, I did cut a panel of the Elegant Lattice background die, and I did this in just plain red cardstock. I didn't use glitter cardstock. And I'm going to do the same thing on this. I'm going to get rid of the outside border. And you can see my outside edges did not cut as well as I would have wanted, but I didn't really worry about it because I was cutting that part off. So I didn't worry about trying to fix those because they were going to fall out once I cut that edge off. So that's why you saw those dark areas on that one side. And then it's easy just to pull those out at that point. So I'm going to do the same thing for this one as I did for the other one. Get rid of the solid outside edges. I just want the inside parts to be on my project on the green. This one will show more green through, obviously, because it has less coverage, but I still think that I want to have it having a green border like it does on the other side. I want the two sides to match, at least in that manner. I am using different background dyes on them, but I think I wanted them to match in the way that they were laid out. And again, I'm measuring a couple of times just to make sure that I'm cutting off the right amount so I don't have to go back and recut the whole background die and start over again. Now that that has been cut down, I'm going to set it aside. I've measured it just to make sure that it looks right, and then I am going to glue these down off camera. After those are glued down, I have gone through and I have put score tape on the bottom piece that attaches these two panels. I use score tape because it will hold better, plus I can line these up pretty easily. I don't have to worry about having much wiggle time like you might need when you're using liquid glue. In this case, I can line them up pretty well and not have to worry about it much. So the score tape will be holding them. I like to use score tape when I need a lot of strength and it needs to be held together really well. So that gives us our two parts that are attached at the bottom. Now I can use this bag topper to make a handle and attach them at the top. And again, I'm going to use score tape just because that will allow it to be held together. It has a lot of strength and hold it together really well. And again, these are easy to line up. I use two pieces on each side because I have a thinner score tape. So, and I want my panels to go all the way up to where the handle part actually starts. These handles are very versatile. They can be used in so many different ways. They are originally made to be bag toppers, and that's kind of how they're used here if you want to consider this kind of a bag. It's a kind of a box die actually, but it's kind of like a bag. So, but they can be used in a lot of different ways. So I suggest you kind of look at them and see all the different ways that you can use those handles. So I took the score release paper off and then I just put one side down and then I'll do the same on the other. And then we'll have the base of our box die done. We'll just have to add the little pieces that will hold what we want to give in this present package. So the handles are now attached and that will allow this to sit up too because they're together. For the actual pockets where we can put things in, you need to go through their score lines when you cut them with your die and really use your bone folder to get those really scored in place. That will certainly help when you're putting it together and I'll make it look nice and crisp once you've scored them really well. It'll allow the box to really come together nicely once they've been scored. I will again use score tape on this. There's the little tiny flaps that have to be put together and then um, the other flaps. I use the vintage lace dies to make little lace tops and bottoms for the pockets, and then I am just stamping a sentiment in between the two lace pieces. Those lace pieces are cut from glitter stock, so they have a little bit of shininess on them as well. Once I have that stamped, I want to stamp that first because I don't want to have to try to stamp once it's in place. I, I attached the two little flaps and then I started building my pocket here, just using score tape to attach it to the background pieces. And then I just slide my finger in there to make sure that I can press down. I could also use my bone folder to go in there. If I can't quite reach the flap at the bottom, I could use a bone folder to push in there and push that down. And there you have our cute little box die. You can put all kinds of little gifts in it, some hot chocolate, some cookies, prepackaged cookies would be fun. If you have a crafty friend, be real easy to put in, some kind of little crafty stamp and die set. You could use tape runner. Tape runner will be easy to put in. So great little ways to give gifts. Hope you enjoyed watching how to build this great little project, and I hope you will check it out. Happy crafting!